humans have to stop believing that if humans cease to exist, life doesn't exist. Because once you start to realize that, your perception on exist, like, we could die today, everybody could die today, but the trees, grass, and flowers, they're gonna be fine. And eventually something is gonna come from that may be some type of other humanoid. So life is always gonna be here. And I feel like our goal here is to make sure that life reaches a point of perfection. And that may take trillions of years on the route we're taking, but it may happen. And I feel like if we all just keep passing down the idea of thinking for yourself, of just being positive, being free, I feel like eventually it's gonna catch on.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Unbroken Chain. It is almost the year, the decade, 2020, and I've been taking time this week to say thanks for what has happened in the last year and the last decade. It's been so much transformation for me, and I'm sure so many of you. And I've been setting intentions for what's to come. And I really feel like intentions are different than resolutions. I'm not attaching expectations to them, but I'm definitely saying prayers, which to me just means focusing my energies toward what I want to see manifested in this realm of reality, and giving myself a lot of compassion for the continuum of growth that I'm on, and acknowledging that the process is underway. It's unfolding even when I can't see the bigger picture, which is often, and deepening my faith in one step at a time, doing what I can see in front of me, and trusting that that adds up to something much bigger than I always know. So I'm sending a lot of love to all of you who are taking stock at the end of this year and who are fucking celebrating how good it is to be alive in a human body and to have the agency to make choices in our lives and in the lives of the people around us. So this week is super rad. This is a blast of youthful energy that made me feel so fucking optimistic. Not even optimistic is not the right word. It gave me confidence about the future and where we're going. This is with two very sweet human beings, Mark and Martaze, who we met in Georgia. They together make up Legacy, the hip hop duo. And we saw them perform at a friend's small festival in rural Georgia, and were just blown away by the transmission coming through their music, and wanted to talk to them and hear about where it's coming from. And they really are coming from that punk tradition of doing it all themselves, not waiting for anyone around them, and having the wisdom to see that much of the environment and the systems around them are dysfunctional and are not where you can look to for your liberation and agency. And they're creating it for themselves and with each other. They're 20 years old, but they are leagues ahead of certainly where I was at 20. And it's such a breath of fresh air to hear what good heads they have on their shoulders, and how it feels to me like they've arrived here on this planet ready to do work. Macon, as I've mentioned, has been a really beautiful community to discover. We met these guys at a place called Muhammad's, which is like a DIY restaurant event space that a bunch of guys in the community who are musicians and photographers and artists are keeping alive. One of the guys that was hanging out the night that we recorded this podcast there said that, especially during the summer, it's pretty bumpin', and it provides a space for guys to develop their arts and invest in themselves, and to stay out of situations on the street that might be, distracting or just downright violent. And it's really amazing that these kind of spaces exist. And it's so cool to feel how much these guys are pulling together to really create a community that's self-sustaining. So Mark and Martaze freestyle for us at the end of this conversation. So I'm going to save that treat until the end. But yeah, I just invite you to really jump into their spirit of like radical self-expression and not waiting for anyone else to give you the keys to your own adventure. I've really been feeling that in my own life, especially with singing lately and expressing myself through sound. Plant medicine ceremonies have really made it so clear to me that like the most fundamental human tool and one of our primary gifts is our voices and, you know, banging on a drum, the primordial rhythm of our mother's heartbeat. And it's such a shame that for so much of my life, at least, I internalized external expectations about, you know, what is good and bad singing, and have always felt like, you know, I was an actor, I like to draw, but, you know, singing and music, not intuitive, not my thing. And the funny thing is that I tell so many people, really everyone I encounter, that the idea that you can't draw is bullshit. And of course, the same applies to my own blind spots with singing. And I really want to encourage you to play with your voice. I was a nanny for several years in New York City, and I used to sing lullabies to the kids that I was babysitting. And that was such a safe zone. And I really loved using that time to create an environment of safety and calm and peace and send people off into the safety of turning off their consciousness, little beings. And I fucking love the way that Mark and Martaze talk about music being an energetic wavelength, just like all of our interactions with each other. That's a really powerful way to alter the space around us and alter our own inner space. And I just want to send a lot of love to any of you that, like me, are working on inhibitive stories about your capacities to do that. If you're human, if you have vocal cords, it's for you. And may this be an invitation to step into sharing that. Please, we need it. I will say that the cannabis was flowing pretty much nonstop for this conversation. When we made the plan to chat, Mark said that he wanted this to be the cannabis special. So I just want to give a shout out to that lovely lady who continually helps me step out of what I think is my comfort zone and to connect with the human heart that is waiting for connection in every single fucking human being out there and creature. I sometimes forget and can build up pretty rapid walls, and I'm really grateful for the tools, including that plant that helps me remember what we're all doing here. So please come hang with us in the back room at Muhammad's. You'll hear occasionally in the room over, there were some guys working on some tracks for their album. So we got a little background music at points as well in this conversation. All right, I love you people. The future is so bright. Like, these kids know what is up, and I'm really happy to put this love blast out into the world.
Well, mainly the hip hop, you know, we try to use the music and everything we come up with in making to just put out, I won't even say perfection, just purity, like good music, good vibes, energy, everything the crowd will want, the people want, what we need in the world, because it's a lot going on. And music, I feel like music
is a powerful instrument.
Exactly.
And we're taking that music energy, put into things in life that would just like bring betterness for everybody. Mm-hmm. In whatever avenue that it may seep through, just putting that dedication energy into that and making change through that, because in ourselves we can bring the change.
Leaving
to
the legacy. That's all we like really can do. Cause I don't even really. First off, I didn't even think I was ever gonna be rapping in my life. Cause really? I wanted to be a veterinarian, a wildlife veterinarian. Well, I still am gonna do that, but I was nowhere near music. He is all with the music.
Well, really, just music really runs in my blood, like with my people. So it just manifested itself.
I had y'all sync up.
First day of high school, he sit behind me. He knew the West Side. We went to West Side High School, go Seminoles.
West Side, 2017.
But he was new to West Side, and I needed a pencil. So I just turned around, took the pencil, which is really symbolic when you think about where we are now. You know how you meet somebody in a random situation, you be like, all right, yeah, we cool. Then next thing you know, we got like 4 classes together. Okay, we both like turn up. Next thing you know,
in class.
We just freestyling in class and stuff. This is still, he was writing there. This is still before I was writing. Shout out Dr. Jackson.
Dr. Jackson, anatomy class.
For real.
Okay, so I have a question for you, and I feel like I'm gonna sound like a really old lady asking this, but it's actually like something that I feel like I struggle with every day. But what is your experience of like being a young person right now when everyone's talking about like how intense shit is in the world? Because I feel like you guys, like the energy that you emit is so fucking positive. I feel like you're just like bending the universe's energy through you and your music. So I feel like you've made a choice about like how to exist in these times.
I knew from a very young age that the world was just like, I don't even want to say sick, but it is sick. But it's just like, I know the life we're living isn't natural. Like, this is just some system created. It kind of works, not really, but you know, we have the access to power to keep people under control. So I guess that's good for the people who have the power. But like outside of that, we don't really even really get a choice on what we want to do in life. Like, you born, you got like 2 years to yourself. Maybe if your parents don't put you in school early, they put you in school early, you probably got like 1 year. So it's like, okay, then you go to school for 14, 12 years, then you get a job. And it's like you pick up this skill in middle school and high school that you kind of like, and it's like you do it enough to have an extra curriculum, but then when you graduate, it's like some people just let it go away and they continue to go with the system. I feel like, okay, yeah, I like music. I like doing graphic design. That's what I was doing way back. So I like doing graphic design. So let me just do this and create my own like existence. Like,
And more so with me, like, it was like a fork in the road as far as like everything was really together. So it was life. That was like my music. I was putting my life into my music. But then like as you know, like as you go along, like life changes and things change. And things did change, and everything seeing like the world change in front of your eyes can really like change how you depict that world when you put your soul, your energy out into the world through the music. Like,
So
or
there was
whatever
like
it
a
is
turning point, you feel like, where
Yeah.
something
I
happened?
I feel like
and
it
you
was
woke
like
up?
a turning point. Like,
a lot of them.
just like eye-opening, like always like learning, seeing like your surroundings, like you start to notice and you just like,
Do you remember what some of those moments were that changed?
I would say the moment that I decided to transfer to another high school my senior year, like I really like saw something in my junior year that I was like, I really want to take control. Like I felt like I felt like I was inside of a system. You know what I'm saying? You see it and you just like, dang, I can change this. And I made that change. I made it happen because it wasn't easy. I had no idea how I was gonna get there, but I made it happen. And then from that point, like I just saw things start to change. And I feel like that same outlook on things, you apply that, the world can change.
Yeah.
One man can change the world.
For real.
Like taking control of your destiny.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody has their God-given, universal-given ability to do something right, no matter what it is. And I feel like if everybody used that energy together to contribute to it, like whatever it is, you could be the best basket weaver in the world. And if you spend your whole life doing that, you can't do anything negative because you're weaving baskets. You love to do it. You're making money. You're surviving. Like, people need baskets. I need a basket. I don't know how to make one. I don't want to go buy one from the store because this money is just being taxed. So it's not really mine anyway. So it's like I'm giving something to a system that I don't even really get much of it back when I can pay somebody who knows how to weave a basket and they can pay me to make them a basket weaving logo for their company or something like you know, like it's like stuff like that. Like we can do this ourselves. Like, just focus on what it is you want to do. Like, that's all you can do. And I feel like when people understand that and just do it, because we do still need lawyers and doctors and stuff, but like if you're just going because somebody in your family said you got to be a doctor because we were doctors, like, and you know that's not what you want to do, like, it's thousands, millions of other people trying to be doctors, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna become doctors. So you do what you want to do. Like,
That's when it becomes a job. Like,
yeah,
they say
like,
if you enjoy what you're doing, it's not a job. Like, you'd be like, I am. But no, you work as. Like,
exactly. I don't consider this work, but it is work because it's tiring. But
Investing in yourself.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
pretty much it, point blank.
Point blank.
What is I'm curious, like, the school system, I've been out of the school system for a long time at this point. Like, how did you feel about like your high school years in terms of like education?
As it went along, I saw it. Now, I'm gonna be truthful. Like, it was based on tests, not on retaining knowledge and actually like learning, depending on what you were doing and who was teaching. The main thing was about grades.
Yeah.
That was what they were focused on.
The moment I knew grades were faulty was when, okay, we had this thing senior year called Flex Mod, which was basically for the gifted student. Like, you had to have like all A's or A's and B's even being it. I was a C student because I'm not doing no homework. I'm just gonna take the test and pass it. And the teachers hated me for that. I'm like, if I know it, just let me do the test. Why would I have to do homework? That's what people need the help. Like, just let me take the test. That was my philosophy, and when I hit high school, I was like, no, I'm not finna stress myself out if I can just take the test Friday. Like, what? But they ended up putting me in Flex Mod, and I was like, I'm a C student. Like, I thought this was for AB. Like, I know a lot of my friends who didn't get into this that could have got in just like I did. They just don't do the work. So like, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, what we ended up learning, like, the reason they did it was for, so I don't even want to say it, but I was being traded, like, in the NBA draft. Like, yeah, we need him in Flex Mod. His grade's gonna make the school look good. Like, from middle school to ninth grade, it was like, we're gonna teach you all these equations and stuff to get these answers, like, for math and science, and then you can MLA and all that. And then it got to like, okay, there's ways to do stuff, but you have to do it our way or it's not right. And I would be like, bruh, if 2 + 2 = 4 and I do that and not X equals something like to get 4, like, what, I still got 4? Like, that's the answer, right? Why do I have to do?
And how does that prepare you for
I
the
feel
world?
like
it doesn't.
It was just a lot of stuff that was left out that really should have, like, if we're gonna have stuff embedded in our brains, like,
it should
why
be
do we leave high school and not knowing how to balance a checkbook? Like, about like taxes and how everything like really affects you, instead of just like pushing you to this position where like you can choose what you want to do, but like you really could mess yourself up if you don't know about going into the ways that you really want to do. Like,
we just programmed to know a whole bunch of facts and seem intelligent. But I look at intelligence as you understanding your surroundings. You understand your habitat. I feel like that's intelligence, because like the IQ test, like, let's say somebody from up north gets an IQ test and the test says, what are cheese grits? And somebody says, I don't know, because they're from up north. So are they stupid? Are they dumb because I know what grits are and they don't? Like, what is? They know their environment. That's what they know. They know how to survive up there. Do what they need to do. I know how to survive out here. Do what I need to do. Like, that's all intelligence to me. Like, it's 2019. If I need to know something, I just go Google it. I don't need to remember. That's a waste of brain space to just, the Marine Corps founded in 1770s. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares? Okay, yeah. That's cool, right? Like, I don't understand.
You mentioned the NFL earlier. How do you feel about that?
About what?
The NFL.
I used to watch, like, I'm not even a sports guy. I only used to watch football because my pops used to watch it. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what we do. And I enjoy football. I enjoy, like, playing and stuff. I actually played in high school, kind of, sort of. Well, I see the NFL, personally, as just, like,
I saw it was more the business. Like, I really
the business,
like,
you just exploiting these men to put on a show while they damage their bodies for large amounts of money. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be a part of it. I got friends who made it from West Side and who are still trying to go, and I'm like, yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's what you do. And I'm like,
that's what they love to do.
The way the NFL treat, like, if the NFL treated their players like with decency and like it was like a fair thing and stuff, like, when it's just not, like Kaepernick, that whole situation was just like, what? So like things like that, it just makes me realize that they don't see these people as human. They just see them as a check. And I'm like, I can't support that. That's what a lot of stuff in the world, the industry, music industry. That's why I'm never signing anything. Like, I want to do everything in the house. I don't need anything at all. At Muhammad.
So y'all have the creative vision for all parts of the art that you're making.
We do. Because I started with graphics. Like, I was doing his graphics for his music back in high school. So it was like, I taught myself. I got Photoshop illegally. It was a cracked version. I got out. I was like, okay, I'm finna learn how to use this. Because I went to a camp when I was 12 called Fame Camp at Fort Valley State. And I didn't know how to do anything but draw. But my sister was going. I was like, I want to go. So she said, you got to choose something to do creative. And I was like, I guess I do graphic design. I know how to draw. And like in them 2 weeks, I learned everything I could, and I went and got it illegally. And from there, I just put my all into that. Then I went and purchased the camera, Canon, I think T6, something like that. And then I put that to work. I started taking pictures. I didn't even start taking videos until like a year after. I was strictly pictures, so I could like get real good with that. Then I took it to Photoshop, learned how to distort to do everything, and started making the covers, album covers from pictures I took. So I never have to go anybody for covers. Like it just started. Now I just started shooting music videos, so nothing can go wrong. And if it does, it's your fault. So who can you blame? Like, you know, you of course get your closest friends. I hate when people say you can't go into business with family and friends. Like, who says like those are supposed to be your people? Like, if you can't go into business, that means something's not right between our relationship. Like, I always got to keep my partners around, because if I ain't had it, I wouldn't be able to move. Not all the way. I would still survive, but I wouldn't be comfortable. Like, who wants to be alone? We aren't made to be alone.
You said you have friends that made it from West Side. Is that the neighborhood where y'all are from?
That was a large span of the city that West Side covered, like Middle Georgia.
Black just recently went, I want to say the Jaguars. Martaze Sanford. He was a cornerback.
So what did you think that making it meant when you were a kid?
My mind was never on making it. My mind was on creating something. Like, I could make it if I entered a field that's already established, but if I'm just so unique to the point where like my life was just a bunch of mark, I'm like, I made it when I started it. Like, I had an idea and I did it. Like, I did my thing. So
see,
like,
I would set goals.
Yeah.
Like, it was like long-term goals and short-term goals.
And it all just
like kind of like progressed as it went. Like, I had goals of the movie Drumline. I saw it when I was a little kid. I was like, all right, I wanna play drums. And then I was like, I'm gonna go to middle school where they have a band. I'm gonna go to tryouts and I'm gonna try out for the drumline. And I make the drumline. I'm just like, all right, facts. I wanna play this instrument. All right, it just keep like knocking up. It's long-term goals, of course. I wanna like provide stability and peace and change. But of course, like everything like manifests in itself is gonna work in the way that it needs to work. But I feel like that purity and that energy, you going into it and it's that pure, like there's no way that it can't work.
What kind of change do you want to manifest?
Positive. Like every interaction, like everything leads to something. So if you try to make that something worthwhile,
I want to change people's mindset. Like, I want to teach people to think for themselves. Like, I don't like conform to like, oh, I'm a Christian or oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at all the religions, or as many as I can. I'm looking at both sides of politics. I'm looking at both sides of all ideology, and I'm like, not who's telling the best story. Like, what's right? What is fact? What have I experienced that's like that can prove that to be true? Like, for example, like with any religion, they have a moral code, and I've come to realize that nobody's born hating any. Like, you're not born with any hate in you, with any wrongdoing in you, just ignorance because you're a child, you don't know anything. But it's still, you're not. When you go through life, it starts to get like changed. Like, you start to see things, you start to experience pain. You start to like, it's a lot of stuff. You start to learn stuff from your environment, from school, from TV. So it's like you see all that, and it's like, are you just gonna believe what everybody else is believing or what you grew up around? Because I grew up in the church. But after a while, I just was like, I can agree to some of this in here, but I just don't believe somebody's coming to save me in the world. Like, I have like a more of a Hindu belief for like the Brahman energy, like the all one energy, just the supreme being, and I'm existing through that energy. When I'm die, my energy is gonna go back to that, and I'll still be existing because energy cannot be destroyed. And so like I chose what I wanted to believe through different things, and I said, okay, this makes the most sense to me based on what I've seen, so I can attest, like I can agree to that. So like, and when people start to think like that, and they start to just think for themselves, and like I feel like universally everybody's gonna come to one mind, because I feel like a hive mind is the opposite from a collective mind, because a hive mind is the same mind collective, but if you have a hive mind of different minds, that's a true collective. Like that's that's gonna make something that's nothing but just, I don't even know.
What do you think that thing is that we're all meant to be working on together?
I personally feel like humans have to stop believing that if humans cease to exist, life doesn't exist. Because once you start to realize that, your perception on exist, like, we could die today, everybody could die today, but the trees, the grass, and the flowers, they're gonna be fine. And eventually something is gonna come from that may be some type of other humanoid. So life is always gonna be here. And I feel like our goal here is to make sure that life reaches a point of perfection. And that may take trillions of years on the route we're taking, but it may happen. And I feel like if we all just keep passing down the idea of thinking for yourself, of just being positive, being free, I feel like eventually it's gonna catch on, and eventually it's gonna evolve into just, I don't know, something amazing, something you can't. And music is definitely the biggest part of that. And I can't find my lighter.
Oh, that's right. I think it's by your leg on the other side. Yeah. Oh, music. How's music part of that?
Music is part of that basically because everything has a vibration. So everything is in harmony. Everything, like out in space, the sun emits a sound, black holes emit sound, planets emit sound, everything emits a sound. So it's like, you master music, you master the language of the universe. Music.
It works on us, I think, too, on like a physical level. Like you experience music more than just hearing it, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I can't even play instruments, but when I do, with the little rhythms that I can make, like, it's like I just feel it. Like it's like my body has just become the sound. Like I'm just like, I gotta keep this up. Like when I write, the same thing kind of happens. Like when I write word for word. Like I'll write a word, rap it on beat. Do I like the way it sounds? Okay, next word. Like that's how I write. Like, but I do it at a quick pace. So like when I write, I try to follow a flow of like the story and my emotions in the story and like how I'm feeling when I wrote this specific line, so that when I flow, it's different flows, but it is all so tightly knit that it just flows. And I know I'm saying flow a lot, but that's the only way to describe it. It is a flow. Like a lot of people these days just mimic other people's flow, and I'm like, I understand. Like I mimic flows sometimes, but I make it my own. Like I don't do it exactly like Kendrick Lamar. I love mimicking his flows, but I like to try to make mine just one bar more complex than his, so that I can say I'm better than him, even though I know I'm not. I'm really forcing it. But just if I were to just make a song that sounds exactly like him, which is nearly impossible, that's not flow. That's somebody else's flow. I want to create my own unique flow, like to where when you listen to my music, even if what I'm saying fades out, it's still just melodic in your ears, and you're still some way picking up that frequency. I'm thinking about putting binary beats in my music. I'm thinking about Capital Steez did it, and I never knew why, because the song wasn't even that hard to me, and I love Capital Steez. That's no one rapper, but I was like, why do I keep playing this song? And I researched. It was like he put a binary beat, and I was like, yo, like that's smart.
What do you think's happening in you when you're listening to those?
That vibration is resonated with something specific in your body, like one of your chakras will know. I'm not that well enough in that to know which one it is, but I know one of my chakras is being opened right now when this vibration is like.
It's like an overwhelming feeling. Like you can feel what the artist is in the song, like the energy. Like you can feel how they were feeling, and if you were feeling any type of way about anything in your life, like it could have made you think of whatever that was relating to you, and then you feel that through the song, you feeling that somebody else is human too, and they can understand where you're at, even
it's
if
time travel and space travel. You're like connecting with a consciousness that may not even exist
really
anymore.
Like, and you really have a valuable point, being that you could help them or maybe even hurt them. So I feel like it's a duty of like trying to help people in a way too.
Do y'all feel like cannabis has been part of that? Because we talk about this all the time, how like once we started smoking, that the way that we experience music just completely changed and became so much more like emotional and connected.
When I listen to music high, it's like anything I listen to high, I'm gonna like it. I don't know why. Like, I cannot like the song high. I listen to high, I'm a vibe, and I just don't know why. I feel like, I don't know, maybe because all frequencies, I feel like all vibrations, all sounds, no matter how chaotic, are beautiful on some form of level of existence. Because, for instance, your blood cells ripping apart and clashing would be, clashing would be chaotic on that level, but like it makes my blood flow. So I'm like, all sounds probably do sound good, and I feel like marijuana just probably like gets you in tune with that, like just appreciating any sound that's in your ear. And I'm like, okay, I can agree with that. Like I feel like that's what it is. Hopefully, maybe it's something completely different or deeper, but I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I think just smoking and tripping just like helped me realize that everything, like you're saying, everything has a transmission. Like how we touch things, how we move through the world, our voice, like everything carries transmission.
It's amazing. Like it's like the peak of feeling that you exist when you're high. Like you soak in everything, and you may not even remember it like 5 seconds later, but when you did it, you like I'm over here just rubbing the sofa, and like it feels like I've been doing that for so long, and it's like now that I just realized it, like why was I even doing that? I'm not nervous, but it's just like I don't know. I could feel, like I could touch it, and I felt every little bristle on my fingers because of the weed. And I know if I was just sitting here doing that, I probably wouldn't be able to feel that. So it's just like.
Do you remember your first experiences with cannabis? Like what that was like, and how that even came? Because I'm just curious, like how that finds you.
It's peer pressure, no matter how you look at it. But my first experience was. My friend's mom used to smoke, but we were young. We were like 14. But when she would go to work, we would just get all the roaches and be like, "Yeah, we smoking." And one day, like she had a lot of roaches, so we was just outside, just smoking them. And next thing, like it was in a neighborhood in Macon, Lake Wildwood, which is a really big ass neighborhood. And so next thing you know, we just walked around the neighborhood and just talked. And I'm like, what are we doing, bro? It's like 80 degrees outside in the middle of the summer. And I'm like, but you know what? I don't know. It was my first time in the house. I was just like, yo, I'm vibing. Like, that's my dude. Like, we have conversation and stuff. But, like, that conversation, like, that was epic for some 14-year-olds. Like, we was just, like, discovering shit about ourselves. Like, just walking. That's the day I discovered I didn't like seafood. And that may not be that important to y'all, but, like, because my family loves seafood. They usually, like, always forcing me to eat it. And I was like, I don't like that shit. The weed brought me to that point.
I feel like more so with me, like it was my junior year in high school, and like I was writing music before. Well, like really just writing like freestyles. I would say like it would be like 16 bars type shit. But they was like, if you got some weed and smoked it and did some music, it would probably be pretty fire. And I was just like, I was always like, nah. Like they probably tried for probably like a year, and I was just like, nah. And then like one day, this man CJ was finna go off to college, and he was just like, "Bro, I'm trying to smoke with you before I go out to college, bro." So we end up smoking, and shit just like took a turn there. Like later on that year, I ended up putting out my first song.
A lot of our music comes from a year of sitting in a Honda under a tarp at night for like 8 hours a night, every day, just hotboxing and writing. Because I feel like everybody probably smokes and write. But I don't know. I guess what we did, which was like, I felt like it was some type of ritual. Like every day just smoking and writing. Like that has to lead to something.
We ran into a gold mine and then realized like we basically had stopped separating our energy of trying to find places to record and trying to write, and we were just like finally like, bruh, we ain't gonna get to the studio no time soon, so like let's just put in their work. We started working, writing every night, and anything that you do, like especially if you love to do it, you're gonna learn and get better. And like we just fine tune our art and craft.
The discipline that you're talking about, though, is key because you have to, like, show up to the thing in order to get better at it. And I think that's where a lot of people get trapped.
Because at that point in time, like, we had the time. we were in this like perfect little bubble of time. Like we were out of high school, and it was right before we like really went into the workforce of things that we had planned to do after that.
We probably just done put our bodies in a rhythm of the goal. Like anything that has anything to do with the goal, we're gonna get high and we're gonna go do it. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that's what it's like. We don't really plan anything.
We don't.
Like it's just we're gonna smoke, and if we get a show, we're gonna smoke before, and we're gonna perform our asses off, and somebody after that show is gonna want to see us again. Let's just keep doing that, and that's what we did. And it's still working, so that's what we're gonna keep doing until it's time to get more like business savvy and stuff. But which we still can handle our business, but for the most
got
part,
so much time to play.
yeah, it's like playtime, but make it work. Like I honestly feel like we haven't wasted any of our time.
And then
Like,
those pockets where we like realize our age again, because like we'll forget in the midst of all of that, like looking at all the things coming, and you'll just be like, we 20.
Kendrick Lamar didn't blow till he was like 24. And I feel like we probably are going to blow way quicker than that. But I don't think it's because Kendrick Lamar didn't do something we didn't do. It's meant to happen.
It's
like,
meant to be.
Because like when I social media, when I go to social media and I'm trying to promote my music and stuff, and in the midst of that, I just see like all the worst news possible, like with the sex trafficking and the Uganda and the homosexuality. They're killing people for being homosexual. Like, that's the world I live in, and so it's just like, okay, I gotta come on with the music, like, cause I feel like the more people I have that not believe in what I believe in, but want the same goal as me on my behind my back, I'm like, okay, I can make a change. So like, the quicker I get to that, the quicker I can start reversing.
I feel like more so it's like a movement towards a movement, like real change. That's like really the goal. Like
that can be possible.
Really actually change the world. Like
artists have influence. Like
have influence.
If I didn't need the influence, I wouldn't care about being famous. But I need that influence. I need it. I won't be able to do anything without it. That's manpower. And people don't understand that. People just want to be big and have the clout and have the money and not do anything with it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, that's such a waste. Like, I understand you can save the world and enjoy life at the same time. Like, I'm not gonna not go visit the places I always want to visit it as a child. That don't mean I can't also donate and do fundraisers, and you know what I'm saying. I can do both, but as long as I'm feeding the people with whatever they need, I'm giving resources, I'm giving hope, and I'm changing, then I'm doing the right thing and I'm contributing with the power that I've accomplished, which is, I don't even want to call it power, just influence. Like influence. I want to keep influencing people to be
positive
like me so they can be who they are and just spread the change. And it's simple. It's simple. But people just, I don't know. I guess they get up there and they're just like, okay, I'm a celebrity now. Let's go buy a really big chain with a lot of diamonds in it that looks like Bart Simpson. And we're going to put it on Instagram and get 40 million views. And like, oh. Not everybody wants a big chain. Everybody could have wanted to buy some land, but, you know, so I just don't understand.
What do your parents think about what you guys are up to?
I honestly, at first, they probably didn't even believe, but it just, like, when they started to see that I was still alive, basically, and, like, still managing to take care of myself and my child and stuff, they were like, okay, well, something's got to be right. Then, I feel like when they came, they saw us at the Cherry Blossom, I feel like that was like, okay, that's they made it. Well, not made it, but they made their choice that this is what they're finna do.
For real. My mother, she's on the elderly side, and she's like seen this, but she hasn't really heard anything. And then like one day I just was like, I'm gonna show her some music. Like I'm gonna show her some of these shows, you know, because like at first it was really a thing on the side, because like music is just like embedded like this whole time. And so like then of course like my other family members, they started finding out about it. So like just spreading word of mouth as far as like I do shows. Then I did a birthday party at my little sister's 16th birthday party, and that's when like everybody was just like, oh snap, we didn't really realize. They never really knew, but it was just a thing that I was just really just like concentrating on.
It really blows my mind how young you guys are, because I feel like people take so long to figure out a lot of the keys that you guys already have completely figured out. Like thinking for yourself, leaving religion, like that can be a long journey.
I feel like it came from struggle. Like people, I don't understand how people struggle and get worse mentally. Like what
Do you mean?
Like they start doing illegal things to get the money. Like one mistake and you're back to square one, buddy. Like why, when you could just invest in yourself and do something positive, what you want to do. And it's like, I feel like when I realized that that's what I had to do, I realized that I couldn't think like everybody else. I couldn't, because it wouldn't work. The world isn't made for people to think like me. It's made for people to think like how they want you to think, which is to be a good consumer and to be a good worker.
That's a crucial point.
Exactly. And I don't want to be a good consumer and a good worker. I want to be smart, and I'll consume from what I want to consume, and I'll work how I want to work, and I'll be happy. And I don't need anything like any bill or document or something telling me that I'm a citizen of some place, or I can do this, I can do that, I can drive on the interstate, I can, like, what? Why is all of that necessary? Did they have licenses for people to ride horses? Did they? I don't know. I really don't know. If they didn't, we need to talk about that. Because if these people can ride horses freely, why can't I drive?
People that lived in peace before there were people that wanted turmoil. Putting people in a place where there's only been turmoil, it makes you like look at it's because there's people over them. But like, why do we need people to tell people how to be people? People should just be people themselves.
I feel like that's helped me have a lot of perspective for my parents when I felt like we've been on different pages, is just realizing that like they lived in such a different world than we did, you know?
Oh my goodness. The older generation does not understand. Like, y'all are not dealing with global warming. We are. Y'all are not dealing with inflation. Y'all had the Great Depression. We're probably going to have another one sometime soon. So it's like, I got to deal with that. Plus, you can't even live off the minimum wage anymore. College debt, like, the shit, like, social media, like, the influence it has on the youth, like, as far as, like, the negative aspects of it, like, that's so crucial on top of, like, trying to figure yourself out in this new world. Because I feel like our generation, like, we were born in such a weird time. Like, that's the transition where, like, technology, like, really started to come around, like, this new age stuff, and it's just, like...
Do you remember pre-internet?
I don't.
No.
I'm a 1999, baby. I don't.
I remember before it was, like, really, like, widespread, like, common,
yeah,
like, around the stuff around me, getting access to the technology. Like, but, like, when I was young, like, I lived in a more, like, countryside of town. And, like, we didn't have Wi-Fi. Like,
so what do you think about the fact that you've been plugged in your whole lives?
I saw the change.
I don't like it.
Like,
no?
I don't like the Matrix.
No.
Like, people don't realize that this really is a Matrix. Like, it doesn't have to be literal, like we're in a video game, but this is a really deeply entwined system.
It's a weird way that is the way that we're connected through internet instead of, like, people. That's how we interact, like, the most nowadays. Like I got a phone in my hand and we're having a face, like, that's become, like, so programmed, and that's something I'm still trying to escape as far as social media and stuff. Like, when I found out that when you get notifications, it's the same as taking a hit of, like, I don't remember, like, it's basically the same as getting high. I was like, yo, what the, and I started to realize, like, I do like getting likes. And I was just like, yo, but that's weird. And then when I found out they're selling our profiles basically, like, to get ads and advertisements, and I'm like, that is weird. They turn that into, like, a whole business in itself, for their profit.
That's like me. Like, my Facebook page just has made someone a millionaire just because I like anime, and I got a lot of anime ads, and I've purchased a few things from those ads. But listen, it's just like, that's weird. I don't like that.
Do you feel like you guys could be successful at what you want to do with the love that you want to spread through music without the internet?
I do not. And it hurts my feelings.
I feel like it would delay the process of what we're trying to do.
To the point
I feel
where
like
we'll be dead before it would happen.
Like, we might not even see, like, the change that we really want to see, but then it's gonna happen regardless. But it's just like,
and it's not because we can't do it. It's because it's so many people that depend on social media. So like, no matter how hard we hit the streets, 20 years ago it could have worked. Well, it would have worked. That's all they could have done. But now, like, everybody's in the phone, so like nobody cares about you freestyling on the side of the street. Now that they can't put it on their Instagram. Their phone's dead and they can't record it. They're probably gonna walk past. They're probably gonna be like, I can't capture this moment. We don't need
dark.
to stop.
It's so true.
It's true though. Like, I've done it before. Like, that's what I'm trying to get out of. Like, if I'm having fun, I'm like, oh, I can record it. Like, I can get hurt for a little bit. And it's like, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why can I? And I was like, when I started thinking like that, and I was like, okay, I realized like that you're into something. Like, you're into something. If you had to step away from anything, you were in it. Like, so it's like it just makes my body ill. But now I'm just, you know what I'm saying, Neo-ing it and hopping in when I need to, hopping back out to destroy it at the same time. Come on, watch Matrix, camera. That is if you want to really just be like, hey, that's the plan. Like, don't take it literally, of course, but metaphorically, the Matrix. That, like, the movie keeps me going.
Do you think the Matrix that we're in has like a purpose for us?
Yeah, to be livestock. Like, we have to pay to live on Earth.
I have to pay to see. You literally have to pay to see. Like,
that, like, what? Why can't I just get a pair of glasses? They really want you to believe that there's not enough material for everybody because there's like 8 billion people. Like, this is a planet. It's living. It's gonna keep producing these things. As long as we keep feeding it correctly and taking care of it, it's going to keep producing. So why do we have to pretend like everything's just going to waste when it kind of is because it's our fault? We're not tending to the earth properly. It's a small percentage of people want to be greedy and distribute it in a certain way to the point where they're basically screwed themselves. And now we're starting to lose the resources because the water's becoming contaminated, the air's becoming contaminated. Like, we're losing trees. That's nobody's fault but ours. So, like, when we discover the fact that we already know we're doing it. Nobody cares, honestly, because who wants to give up their phone for a few? Like, who wants to give up? You know what I'm saying? A few dollars for a few trees. Like, nobody wants to do that. Honestly, truthfully.
Did you say earlier that you want to buy land?
I do.
Yeah.
I want to buy land. I'm gonna get out there. I don't want people to give it. I feel like, let's say, for instance, the Make 'em All. Let's say I buy the Make 'em All and I put a big community garden in it, and all I do is put a sign that says, "What you take, if it's the last, replant it." And I have people there that keep up with that, and that's all there is to it. And I don't make any money from it because why would I need to? People are getting fed. You got fresh produce, and all you gotta do is plant it if you're the last. Like, you got the last or whatever, the last tomato. Like, that's so simple. That is so simple, and people will really try to argue you and be like, that can't work. They'll be like, it's not the plan's fault, it's humanity's fault because they don't understand how to work a system like that. But if you teach people how to just take care of things and give, take, like, people, that stuff like that can work. But right now it can't. But I feel like if we start doing it, we'll have a chance to make it work instead of just being like, no, we gotta do something else. Let's tax tomatoes every year. Like, no, man, that doesn't make any sense. Let's genetically
modify stuff.
Yeah, so it's not even a real tomato no more. Like, that's disrespectful. That is disrespectful. Like, I still got to pay $1.89 for a few fake tomatoes. When I could, like, why is it illegal to collect rainwater? It's falling out of the sky. It is literally falling out of the sky. But because I'll take it and boil it and have fresh water, you don't want me to do that.
I feel like if an alien came and visited our society,
they would leave. We don't want to live here. We thought this was. I feel like Earth is probably like just the universal room. Like, I heard Earth was a paradise. We got discovered in the next trillion years. Then, like, by the time they get here, like, where's the trees and the animals? All I see is buildings, and they be like, we did this to our planet. We came here for a new fresh planet to try again. I feel like that's probably what aliens are thinking right now. Like, they done ruined a perfectly good planet because this planet is fairly young. A lot of people don't know that. Like, humanity, if the span of the Earth was an hour, humanity's existence would be a second. And look what we've done. Like, wow.
Like, damn, can't have nothing, man.
Can't have nothing. And we got to pay to live here.
Do you think we'll ever get off this planet?
I feel like we will, and I feel like it's gonna be a last resort that could be avoided. But I feel like we're not gonna have no choice some days but to leave, and it's sad. But I probably won't be here for it, so go for it. But while I'm here, I'm gonna try to get people to just fix what's already here. Like if you're gonna put trillions of dollars into a space program, why not just put that into the earth? Like, that's so backwards. That's literally backwards.
It's like priorities are just like way out of line.
It's way out of line.
Is that just ego, do you think?
I think so. Humanity wants to feel important. And I want humanity to understand that we have to be the first nation to the moon. Like, we have to have the most money. We have to have the most resources. Like, that's just stupid. And it's not even everybody. It's just a few collect trillionaires, billionaires that are doing it, and they're tricking us, the lords, into believing that what we're doing is for us when it's really for them. Like, I don't like working. What is $10 an hour? My life is worth $10 an hour to you. What? I could go take a few pictures and make 100 in 30 minutes. Like, it's sick. And I feel like when we leave, even if we do leave, if we don't fix that, it's just gonna happen again. So it's like, you can't run from yourself. You gotta break the cycle.
Like, and we have the power to do so
with the music. I keep losing the light. No, I didn't.
Do you feel like you've been here before?
I do. And I only say that because I'm a Pisces, which is the oldest sign. And I used to didn't like believe in that stuff, but the more I started looking at myself, and it was like Pisces are like free will and don't really conform to anything that's not them, and they just know truth. I was like, okay, that do kind of sound like me. Like, I do live a life where like I know, like, I done been through this a bunch of times, and this is the time where I refuse. Like, I literally refuse to not do what I want to do. I can't.
I feel like I was in a never-ending loop, and like you saw everything that happened. Like, just imagine you saw a video game of like a rabbit running in a circle, and you saw him running around every single time, and you just like, I could grab him if I press this button right now, and like, everything to do, you just have to do it. But this doing is a lot different than that, but in a similar way of it just takes time to progress.
No, sometimes I'm like, how many times do I have to learn certain lessons within this lifetime, let alone like how many lifetimes just to work on like one tiny one.
And then yeah, exactly. Like, I'll look at stuff as in like, it's about like the experience and seeing the things that you learn from the experiences. When you're getting older, they say like older people are like synonymous with wisdom and stuff like, but like we're young, but I feel like the wisdom is like you realizing those experiences like each time that you see them, like you already know what to do. Like,
you already expect it.
You feel it.
Like, in the back of your head, you just already be like, know what to do in that moment.
Okay, so tell me how this hits you. What if, is it possible, do you think, that as more and more generations come to the planet, that they're coming and they're developing a skill to like pull knowledge from back into the ancestral line like more readily? Yeah, because we need it so badly.
I think that's exactly what's happening as far as like culture and stuff. And religion too, sadly, if you know what I'm saying. But I feel like the more we start to understand life and how life works and like how nature works, the more we'll truly be able to pass on that generational knowledge of like peace and prosperity, because we'll be we're trying to make our own system. Like, we're trying our hardest to go against nature when there's already a natural balance. Like, so why are we trying to do this new thing and pass that on to our generations that just lead to more and more confusion of trying to make it work when we can just use what we originally were passed on, which is using the land for your resources and giving and trading and protecting, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how life used to be, not to perfection, but that's
taking a
still
more
how they
life
live.
approach versus like a civilization approach.
Yeah,
as
like,
far as like, I feel like civilization did change the way things were like run and
what
how
life is.
what life is like supposed to be. Like ideally, if you're put in this system and this circle of people, like you're gonna want specific things inside of there. If it was just like a community basis or like local basis, as long as the community needs were met and everybody like survives, like that was pretty much it. Like,
Is some of that starting to happen here? Like, is there community that's starting to support each other in
As
new
far
ways?
as making?
Yeah.
sub communities.
As far as like the underground artists and everything that we do as far as collection, like it does feel like a new age community as far as like how everybody thinks and how everybody's goal. Like, everybody has the same goal. Like everybody's trying to be their own, and like it's not too many artists in making that want to be signed, which is really important to me. Like you ask a lot of artists in making, they don't want to be signed, and I'm like, okay, that's a collective thing we have going on. So like we could just be our own power as far as a musical industry. Like we could be our own industry, making just a whole entire city just being their own music industry to even probably combat the actual musical industry, because we have a lot, like Macon has so much music, so many artists, like so much talent, and it is crazy. Like I don't even think people realize, like we had Summerfest, which was a hip hop festival, and Bragg Jam, which is like a rock festival, at the same time on the same day, and like downtown was like full, and I'm just like, look at the power of music. Like not one, probably maybe a few artists were from out of town, but other than that, everybody was local.
It's a whole renaissance right in front of our eyes, for real.
I feel like that's the community. Like that's powerful.
It's a ghost.
You just gonna
he talk for that long, bro.
really? He just gonna interrupt? He just want to be in it.
Would you guys have any interest in freestyling a little bit?
Oh,
Or if you just like have, do you have like any instrumental tracks that you can play that you could do your own, do one of your songs over?
yeah, I'm down. Like, as long as if we can rap,
Yeah, freestyle on a beat, you know?
Well, let's see. Do you have the beat, or do you want me to just find you a beat?
play one.
Oh, I got it.
That is freestyling is like meditation.
It is meditation.
And letting all your thoughts hit you and picking what's most important at that moment. And then making it sound good. And it take a lot of brain power, honestly, because I catch the meanest headaches after freestyling.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie, because I be using my brain. I just use my brain. I call it Ultra Instinct. Shout out to all the anime watchers. It's just Ultra Instinct.
What is that
It's
from?
like
Dragon Ball Z. It's basically like a technique to where like you just have full mastery over your body and your mind. So like you basically cannot be touched. Like
it's an elevation experience. Like it feels good when you're like in tune. Like it's a great feeling, and you never know what might happen. Cause like after a freestyle is done, like I won't remember anything I said.
not a word.
But like for real, like I won't remember anything I said.
How is that different to the writing process?
For me, the only reason why I remember is because I wrote it. But like I write as if I'm freestyling. But what I do is I don't just like freestyle when I'm freestyling. I tell a story, but it's a random story. But when I'm writing, I try to make the story not so random. And I don't like writing stories like how J. Cole or Kendrick writes. I like writing like metaphysical stories. Like it's almost if my song is a trip, because I'm just doing so much random shit. But at the end of the song, you're like, oh shit. Like he just exposed his inner deepest, darkest secrets, and how he accomplished it, beating it in like the weirdest way ever.
Hey, real talk, like it's more so with me, like it's almost like I'm painting, and like I'm painting a picture, and like when you're painting a picture, like you don't paint like a horizontal line. Like I'm putting some grass over here, I'm putting some dark ass clouds over there, some shit. Could put the sun in the distance over there. Like it could be a field, it could be a downtown just scenery, like, or whatever story or picture that was painted, but like it's a painting, like it's art, like.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wear a hat.
This beat is hard as fuck.
Got the sitar, the Indian sitar in there. Alright, I'm gonna start it over, so y'all just come on in whenever you
Okay.
It's the arm of the truth. I was not looking for the loop, looking for the truth. It was prophesized anytime I went inside my mind. My chakras, they could align, and I'm seeing this bolder time. It's a couple of sunsets, a couple of rainy days, a couple of sunshines that didn't get overtime. 24 hours, I'm looking for the 8 now. It was a murder mystery, looking for life. It's a hickory dickory dock, another tree right off the plot, put on the land, and I'm seeing the sharecroppers looking for the depth and trying to get back everything that they were owed. I'm a proctor to the exam, looking for the time to get in the man.
I pace myself, I chase no wealth, I see my dealings. I'm coming in with killers, but not slaughter, unless I be a martyr for the nation. But I'm never taking that way, couldn't waste it, so I embrace a different cadence. Look at the beats, how it's moving, grooving. I'm pursuing the illusions that's got my mind moving. I'm off like fallovers or trees, I'm through the breeze, and R.I.P. the steeds. I'ma slide to third base with ease. Look at me, my enemies try to conceive what I do. The realness in my music you could never pursue. Get not one clue. If it's blue, you get jacked. If it's red, one shot to your head, they leave the whole hood dead. Instead, I led the army to Troy. Just a young boy with no joy. I find the hope in my chocolate throat. Now I see the way that I could use the rope. I hang a different time. I'm hanging lines from 5 to 9 to 9 to 5. That's like 20 hours to devour for the lyrical shower that's about to occur. When I come in, it's no concur that I'm the best, no less, no test, no jester. The best, no less. I'm from the west, the places you can
born
get
a
in.
king but never made a fool. In the jester we were seeing chessboard, we were checking dudes. It was a double decker, not looking for the king. Still a god, divinity found a new spring of water. I bring a sprout, a leak, you can leak it out. Taking that mind levy and breaking, letting the world sprout up from the flood. Looking for the cleansing, not from blood. It was thicker than water, it was for the kin out the mud. It was another boiling hot, boiling over. Look at the top, it's falling over. No luck, no clovers. It wasn't no March, it was February and January. Putting the world together, it was looking kinda scary, but I saw that I was equipped with the weapons. I came in, the whole team was stepping. Never met with the crescent, it was a full moon. Seeing that energy in tune with that tide, I'm bringing over a tsunami coming soon. Earthquakes and I'm hitting the fault line, saying that I could devote and unify through the fault times that we were giving in. This time around with my life, it seemed like this time I'm feeling the fight, and me ain't coming back and seeing that energy breathing fire for a unity, everybody with passion, desire, and then it bubbled up so more. It's on the stove, I'm cooking over the whole house on fire. I told you.
Say I see fire and sharing, my mind glaring, but I'm not caring. Enemies still staring. I'm at the Red Baron at the freezer, no heater, too cold, probably harder than J. Cole. Like who knows if that album ever hit the stove? I bet it blow. Got like 40K for a show. You know I'm lying, no. They don't pay artists in making, but I'm making different bank statements when I hit the states where they call me the greatest. Like NY, why I do it, I don't know. I'm just the fluid water that flow through the crust of the earth. When you trying to get lower, it bursts like bubbles. Hit the muzzle on the shotty. Now your body hot like Scotty Pippen. I'm lipping. You get a sip of something that get you equipped with the equipment of a trooper. Now I gotta do you like hoopla when you need that number one from Krabby Patty formulas. But I'm warning you, this is just I slipped up, but I'm back on it like ketchup. Musta did it. I done caught up, so I'm the man who first shit it. And I did it independent with no checks or no label. I ain't got no money in my pocket. This is for a tray fighter, right? So I get high and hit cloud 9, but 10 look good. Then again, could I hit 11? That's the peak of dimensions, or so they say. I see 47 and 48 hours a day when I see it 2 times. Now that's a different way to hit your mind. I hit your spine, then your prana align. Hit a kuni lean, the bark and it shine through the light that's divine. And then I recline and I see different times from 99 when I was born. Soul torn from an old youth. Now I'm back in the fountain, the truth. When I spit, I knock out your tooth, and I left it in the booth. On the roof, hide in the ceiling, and my dealings just like a poker face. I poke your face just to see if you still awake.
We were freelancing, them words not dancing. 47, that number you seeing, all the balance, and the weight scale could tip over, but the weight was a boulder. on the shoulder, and we already told you we coming cold every winter, every December. They could get it. We always had the team dismembered, and we severing anybody that wanna get it. Told them that we were top notch, and now we gon' spin it. How we gon' pop it like spinach with the flow that we gon' kick. Every time that we get inside of that bucket, it's like they kick the bucket again. Taking a career, and then we taking careers on top of careers. My folks seeing limits, infinity times infinity, infinity square for all the squares. We told them we out of bounds, the out of bounds scene there. See it here, 3-point repeat, just like James, and then he MJ taking back another 3P coming next to me. The trilogy 3, every time you see. In my eyes, it was right in between. I know you've seen all of those dreams that didn't seem like dreams when we were living. Open my eyes, now we live like kings, and then I see.
We live like kings with no bling, and I mean, is it fading? Okay, I mean, I'll stop.
You guys. Woo! Holy shit.
That shit was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
That shit was fun.
That's
was
such a
fun.
high.
Felt like
That was fun.
when we was in the Honda and we were riding, and when we got out, it was snowing because I'm cold. Like, it's something about the cold and rapping. That was fun. And now my body is just shaking.
I feel complete now.
Thank you guys for doing that. That was amazing.
That was our pleasure for real. That was.
Where can the people find you?
Instagram at 478 Legacy. Both our IGs are under there. SoundCloud, you can find me. Letter S, number 8, GE. I got a song with Charlie out on all platforms right now. Still Push, search Still Push. It's the only song that's named that in the world for some reason.
You can find me on SoundCloud, Martaze 3. Martaze with a 3 as the last E. And we got a lot of music.
A lot. We're working on the album right now. Like a few rooms over, they're working on the album.
10 feet away.
A legacy album with like 11 artists.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are right here. Chopin and Charlie Zero in the building.
Making magic.
I'm really glad you guys are in the world doing your thing. Like, we
got
need
to.
you. You
We
know?
glad y'all are here too. Like this, peanut butter and jelly. It's gonna be magical. The people gonna love it.
Thanks for being here, you beautiful people. Go find these guys online. This is going to be a really fun journey to watch unfold. They're unstoppable. If you want to find me, I'm also online at Maura James on Instagram and maurajames.com. I am dropping a trailer in the new year for a project that I've been working on, and you can sign up on my website to be part of that super exciting journey as it blasts off this year. In honor of Baba Ram Dass, who passed just before Christmas, I want to end with one of his teachings. He was a huge part of my awakening. Listening to his talks at the end of mushroom and LSD trips really helped me anchor my experiences in service in this dimension, and I know that's been true of so many people. His ability to touch people across time and space is such a gift, such a lesson to what we can be to each other if we are unafraid of our power. And this particular offering is one that I've come back to many times over the years as a reminder to release judgment. When you go out into the woods and you look at the trees, you see all these different trees, and some of them are bent and some of them are straight, some of them are evergreen and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light and so it turned that way, and you don't get all emotional about it, you just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all of that. And you're constantly saying, you're to this and I'm to this. That judging mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. Thank you, Ram Dass. Thank you for the reminder to do that with, the taxi drivers that we meet, and to do that with our most intimate lovers and sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers. That is undoubtedly where the deepest work comes for me, for non-judgment, and it's a lifelong practice. I'm glad to be here with you all. We'll hang again soon. Love you.
Fire.